everybody, it's time for Fantasy Tuesdays. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. We're going to start with Matt Forte. Gentlemen, I'll ask you this. Is Matt Forte still a first-round draft pick?
No question about that. I mean, he's going to see the lion's share of the carries in that backfield. I do think that his targets as a receiver are going to go down. He had 102 catches last year, which was phenomenal, but I think he makes up for the lack of receiving yards with more rushing yards. And remember, Adam Gase had 2 top 11 fantasy running backs during 2 years in Denver.
No Mark Trestman. Does he still produce?
Oh, absolutely, he still produces, but Fabs is right. Yeah, he's not going to catch as many passes. You said phenomenal. It was a record. That's more than phenomenal.
Amazing.
It was record-setting,
Right.
but he's still going to be just as good as he always was. Yes, he's getting a little bit older, but I think he's still worth a top 6, top 7 pick.
He's still young. He's fine. He didn't like his role. I don't think he liked that role in the offense. I don't think he liked being that pass receiver. Wants to run the ball between the tackles, which is what he's definitely going to do this season.
All right, Marcus, we're going to stick with you here. Let's talk about Alshon Jeffery. What are your projections for him?
Alshon Jeffery is going to have a huge year. I mean, this is a guy who could probably approach 1,500 yards receiving, maybe get you double-digit touchdowns. We saw last year he basically took over from Brandon Marshall as the #1 option in the Chicago Bears passing game. I expect that's going to continue this year. And maybe if Kevin White, the rookie, can step up and draw a little bit more attention, that helps Alshon Jeffery even more.
Fabs, how about this? Gase in 2 years in Denver had 2 top 10 fantasy wide receivers in each year. Jeffrey is now the guy in Chicago, and we all know Jay Cutler, he likes to target that one guy a lot.
Yes, he does.
The guy's Brandon Marshall and haranguing him and constantly in his ear. Of course he is. The guy to watch for, Eddie Royal. That's going to be, if you look at his time when they were in Denver, they brought him over. They know what he can do. Jay Cutler's never really had that kind of slot guy while he's been in Chicago. I expect him to be targeted a lot. You talk about a lot of receptions going to somebody, maybe not to Matt Forte anymore. Those are going to switch to Eddie Royal, who's going to be a PPR monster, but even in standard leagues is still going to be very good.
Eddie Royal,
October.
Right, I was just about to say, he's going to be great for the first 5 weeks.
Stop it.
Rank, we're going to stick with you here. Give us a breakdown of Jay Cutler's fantasy value.
I like Jay Cutler. He had a pretty good fantasy season last year. It wasn't the great, he's not an elite fantasy option, but if you're somebody...
He was up and down.
He was a little bit, but you know what? This year I expect a little bit more consistency. I think that this is going to be a better offense for him. As much as Mark Trestman, as great as he is as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach, it didn't really translate, and there was a lot of issues there. I expect a better focus this season, and I expect Cutler to rebound.
Fabs?
I don't like Jay Cutler as anything more than a QB2 who's a matchup-based option and really not worth more than a late-round pick.
Yeah, he was very up and down last year. Some games we saw him put up 20, 30 points. Other games, not so much. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's going to do it for our Bears Fantasy Preview. Be sure to sign up for fantasy football right now at NFL.com/fantasy.